Yo guys, this is DoD FireFox, and I am hosting two games here. One is BacHi with Nuwa, so our fellow DoD member BacHi, against Avely in the recent tournament. And this one is me on Hades against Nullus. And I want to clear up a common misconception that boomy or defensive gods are always kind of like two town center boom. I would say especially Hades is actually a div that, I would say the last 10 games, probably 7 out of them, I went one town center aggression. And so regarding Hades, I think two towns that you probably want to do against Atlantan, but not always. Sometimes Ares aggression is also very good. Um, you probably kind of need two town center or maybe a village center against Japan because they get the free Bushido tiers. So you kind of need to, make up an economy. Then when it comes to Norse, you definitely want to play one town center. Against Creek, you probably want to play one town center now with the buff Toxodis. So you can do some nice Centaur Toxodi, Cyclops Toxodi all in. And versus Egyptian, which we have here, it's a bit of a 50-50, I would say, where you want to go one town center or two town center. So one thing that is actually very good, it's not a high IQ 200 Mr. trick, but one thing is very good if you play someone on the ladder and you play multiple games against each other. It's sometimes good to start with something like a one town center aggression. And then when they're like, what the fuck is happening? And you catch them off guard, in your next game, you go two town center. But additionally, I think that Isis and Sid, they kind of counter Hades. They're really good, especially with a lot of siege tower. They're really hard to stop now that villagers don't have a bonus against them. You cannot really mass hoplites against siege towers because the Egyptian can easily mass chariot archer, add mystical units, the snakes, or Ancestors and Eclipse or whatever. And then they will just mail through hoplites, and then basically or a big push from the Egypt is very hard to hold, especially if you go two towns every time. So one thing that is actually pretty good is to go for a one town center aggression. And I think both Athena and Ares are fine. Um, I think if you go Athena, you probably want to go stable hoplite, so Hippicon hoplite, and maybe at Tox. But you definitely want to build two or three Mino, maybe even upgrade it. You want to raid around and shove your opponent into the base. With Ares though, you get a real siege unit. So with Ares, I would suppose you go two stables. So you get a Hippicon. They're very fast. They can catch priests and pharaohs. And you want to get a Tox range and maybe add another one later. So you have two Tox ranges because now Toxodis got buffed. Infantry is weaker against archers. And by the way, this here, the prosperity cost from Nullus at 350 tells us that he's going for a two town center strategy, which we absolutely love to see here. And we are not up yet, so I was not decided yet what I'm going to do. If Nullus was more like I go fast heroic and I try to put a mid goal here, okay, this would be a bad spot, but put a mid goal here and rush in, I would probably go Athena. But since, so I can just go out early on the map, and win a fight and shove him in his base with restoration. But now that I see the prosperity, the Ares is just a easy click, easy call. And I'm not planning to do any second town center stuff. You also see my scouting was very enemy focused. I scouted here in the on the enemy side and not on my side because I don't care how my town center looks like. I already committed to going one town center aggression, and this is something that I do a lot with Hades and sometimes with Nuwa. We're going to see it. Now we catch a will. We probably will not kill it because this priest. I mean, this priest also gives away the town center position. If I'm honest, So there's the priest already there, you know, pre-checking the situation here. We kind of know we don't want to harass here, because I don't think I will do any damage against him healing stuff, and I don't want to have my Ajax get chip damage that I cannot heal as I'm Krieg, or cannot heal for now. And here, by the way, against snakes, a click on the attack move on a villager is pretty easy to counter this. It's annoying, but it doesn't really stop me. I'm waiting. I'm not putting down any military buildings until the snakes are cleared, and I know the Anobite is gone. Let's see what Nullus sees. So he saw nothing. He sees only no. He sees all 4 towns, so he should be aware that I'm not on 2TC. So we move out to clear the obelisk. We don't wanna get an army and walk into range of his obelisk so that he sees what we're doing. And we kind of have to be aware that there's still an Anobite around here, but he's now moving in. And I do a bad job here, honestly, at defending this, because now Nullus walks in, and it's not about not losing a villager or so, but it's about him not getting the vision. But him only seeing 2 buildings, he could maybe think that I anticipated him going for some kind of like spear roll in or something, especially um since he's on Anobites. But then again, I saw his town center, so you probably shouldn't think that. That would be quite a big overestimation if I think he could go second 2TC and rush my base at the same time. So probably Nullus didn't think that. Now Nullus should be on alert, but I'm not sure he ever played against this. So what do, we upgrade our Cyclops. We want to hide our Cyclops around here on the town center. And if you see some units coming here, we actually want to move them away. We don't want to fight, no. We want to, have Nullus a bit in the dark about what's going on. And now we play this here. And this is so nice with Hades as you get the Volts of Rebus. It's easier to spam this type of unit combination where we build Cyclops, these are food heavy, build Hippicon, which costs food as well, and also supply all of that with gold. So I really like that with Hades. So now we do some little raid, make use of those units. I think I wanted to check here. I didn't know there was a wall yet, but like we catch a priest, and Nullus is not ready for what's coming. I think one big good thing if you have like 8 or 9 calf would be to get the calf upgrade. Yeah, okay, I'm doing this. Now it's kind of worth it, But it's not like, yeah, maybe we want to play Patromus anyway later, so it's not like wasted. But you kind of have to decide if you want to go infantry or cavalry, because teching all tech trees is not really an option in this game. Now we move in Cyclops first, so the town center automatically shoots at them. And if Nullus is smart, and he is, so he will probably refocus the town center, but now he's occupied with saving his priest. And this is also very good to have Hippicon Toxotis here, because now we can basically attack the priest at any point of any angle. And we take down this town center with very little resistance. And this is one thing, especially if your opponent thinks that you are going for a 2 town center strategy. So 1 town center. I have another game, by the way, against Kilominati, which was really cool. Hades against Fuxi, but unfortunately that game, that was also 1TC, went out of sync. So I cannot show it, unfortunately. Let's go to the second game. The second game is played by BacHi, who is our up-and-coming Nuwa goat. And let's see. So this is Ghost League, and this is a tournament match. And I think at this point it was like 1-1. So both, or was it? Yeah, I think it was 1-1. So both won and lost the game. And BacHi asked me beforehand. So he's like, "Map is Ghost Lake. What should I do?" And I said, and he said I will probably be on Zug. I say, okay, go Nuwa. And if it's a 2 gold mine map, just maybe even go village center in your base and put the Hoto wall around it. And then you can easier defend against the Tengu lame spam. But BacHi told me, what do I do if it's a 1 gold mine map, and I said, if it's a one gold mine map, well, then maybe, go for some type of early aggression. So build, use the clay peasants, build a barrack, find where the gold is, build a barrack, and rush him so that he cannot easily go Fosseric. If you know Avely, he's been spamming Tsuko on the ladder, and he's like top 6 or whatever with Tsuko. And he's really abusing this, and he's been doing the fast heroic Tengu spam every time. So this map, I wonder why both players are really didn't really scout that much. I think maybe it's only 1 minute 40. Maybe I'm overestimating the scout at this point, because you want to kind of get the goals. And this map has been changed. So in the prior stages of this game, all the goats were on the middle, on the goat lake. And now they're kind of there's still, I think, 2 batches, and then they are moved more on the other side of the map, which is quite more balanced, to be honest. Because before, like Set or Zeus, who could go in and bolt your scout and stuff, they could just grab all the goats very easily. And now it's a bit more distributed, so a little more fair, I would say. And I have no idea about Tsuko, to be honest. I know he's just very, very lame with this tango abuse. I don't like it. I don't like when people abuse to get points. I don't like it. So usually I play Sivs when they are weak, and then they get buffed, and then they are OP. Lol. Like Ra was really bad. So in the Legacy game I played Isis, and Isis became the strongest Civ in the game. Then I switched to Ra, and Ra on Retold was really shit. Then he became S tier, and probably now it's shit again. And yeah, this is kind of the life cycle of Civs. So now we see, BacHi is also one thing that we talked about. I told him to not go with 3 Kuafu, go 2 to Kuafu. Because you kind of need the speed here in a matchup like this. And this is a good rally, but not very important, I think, for the early game. And Avely is trying to grab it so that god powers cost less, and you have less. You can have them more early again for the second use. And BacHi already knows the gold, and he's really lucky that the gold mine is on the front, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, the back gold mine kind of sucks, like here, but you could still, wall it from this perspective, and you can, with clay peasants and the sky lantern, you can place down a building anyway. That doesn't really matter, but obviously having it front is easier. So we see here 3 pioneers, 4 pioneers coming in, and the clay peasants. And you got the upgrades for the pioneers as well, which is nice. It's a bit too far. I would like it a bit closer. And now you can shove. You can shove now Avely off gold. So whatever Avely's trying to do, like a fast heroic strategy, gets really, really hard. And he instantly builds to Halberdier. Oh yeah, this was also something we talked about. I was like, if you do this strategy, and he was like, but then 3 Naginata Rider come in and fuck me up. What do I do? And I said, just play around your barracks. You can get a tower here. You can get 2 or 3 halberdiers, and you should be fine. Now in a map like this, Avely is forced to go from one. He doesn't have scouted this at all either. He has to go for a gold mine, and this is a lot of walking time. And in Ghost like the gold mines are very bad distributed, or very scarce, let's say like this, which is fun. It's gold is definitely a key point in most matchups on Ghost Lake. Now he has to move all the way here, and he's already caught by BacHi. Okay, instantly move out of this. 1 down. I think he shouldn't stay here, to be honest. I mean, the pioneers cannot be grabbed by the swampland because they are heroes. Oh, wow, the wall was nice, really nice. But you lack the support of the halberdiers. And now I mean, everything here was already a win for BacHi, I think. I'm just not sure. I probably would have just maybe I would have played it worse, honestly. I would have probably just shoved him off and just harass him a little bit. Maybe not two barracks, but only one barrack. And then I would have went for the second town center myself, like this one, to secure two gold mines. It's probably how I would have played it, but I like his all-in approach. This is also something I told him. I said that you can go full send, but I don't have really a lot of experience with going full send after the barrack rush. So I usually do some barrack rush plays, but I'm not sure if you want to follow him up. So yeah, I mean the problem with Kyonji, whatever, is that if your enemy, if you have like a lot of them and your enemy gets to heroic with the Shogun, then you kind of have to keep them all in the back or delete them or something. You probably have to fly around and not take them in the fight because the Shogun will just get so much value if he hits them. So every 100 damage of the Shogun, he gets one samurai. And if there's tons of mystical units he can hit on, then he will get tons of samurai, which is really not good. So. And Avely's doing a nice job here, intersecting. Oh, this was an overreaction. This is huge. This is a big win for um for Avely. Just idling. I would have put it on on the straight tree in the middle. In the meantime, honestly, but this is huge. And now BacHi is going for the attack. Very nice. His samurai will be very dangerous. So probably need some fire archers. And also get this Jonji in. Gwonji. Oh my god, why can I not say this today? We have a nice fight. I think he's overdoing it on the halberdiers now. He should not do 10 now. Stop at 8 now, he's doing 14, okay. I think fire archers would be better now. Maybe some Star Wars swordsmen, because he has 4 samurai. And technically 5, and only 5 cavalry. Maybe he wants to give him less incentive to build cavalry with going so many Star swordsmen. Ah, not Star swordsmen, halberdiers. And he still didn't use New Moon. I think he's still in his mind. He's kind of on a track where he wants to go fast heroic for Tango spam, and now he's kind of like Avely wants to go fast heroic, and now he's kind of caught off guard. And now with this Guanji, you're almost there where the upgrade would be really good to get for them. Okay, this is a low one. Potentially not. Potentially need one more healthy one, and then you can get the upgrade. They get really tanky when they are around units. At this wall. Oh my god, this is so much idle time too. Oh my god. Not worth it for Avely, I think. Rather get a samurai here to slay this down. And have the village together. Oh my god. Uh, and honestly, just 3 halberdiers in the base. Even if, especially if he's on 12 or whatever. Or 14 now. Having 3 in the base just to deny this kind of attacks would have been nice. What are the economy upgrades? Oh, no economy upgrades either. That's interesting. What does Avely have? Also none. Okay, it doesn't matter. He just wants to win the army fight, basically. But every economy upgrade that you get and it doesn't make you lose key position, basically makes you win more in the late game, right? You're going for small edges. And now the Naginata Rider comes in, but this looks like, even if I didn't have the score up here, I would say that looks very ahead for BacHi here. And now the tower upgrade came in apparently. So yeah, he used he used the new moon to get the buff tower, so these towers are really, really strong, but he already lost one here. So I'm not sure this, does he have one here? Okay, he has one here in the squad position. Okay, I see. I'm still not sure this is worth it, to be honest, because there's so many resources. This is a new tower and a tower upgrade and new one wasted on towers. If he wanted to play like this, his army should be right here. And so I think in this case it was a big waste, to be honest. There's a little bit of micro here. So BacHi doing this really, really nice. You see, Nuwa, not always a 2 town center god. Sometimes you go hard, you know, especially against Japanese, and especially against Susanu. I think it's really good. And this is the win for BacHi. Really well played. I have more games of this 1 town center stuff, but unfortunately they are out of sync. But I hope you liked the map, the video. Please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And thank you very much for watching. Bye. Yo, goats. And here's another game to bring home the fact that you can do a lot of 1 town center aggression. I will speed this up a bit, so you know it doesn't become too repetitive, but then again we kind of play this one differently. So this one is against Pegasus, who's a really good player. Zeus main, I believe. And yeah, also another top contender. And I like this matchup. Zeus against Hades is probably on the current patch a little bit Hades favored, but it's quite even. And Zeus had a lot of options of what he's going to do. He can go from some Centaur lane, he can go 2TC Athena, and try to suppress the 2nd town center attempt of Hades. And what I really like is Hades, especially if I find a relic like this that buffs my archers by 5%. What I like is going for a 1 town center strategy where I don't even try to stop the other Greek from going to TC. I will not try to run in there and eat a bolt or anything. I try to just chill, maybe go 16 or 17 wills. Go for a delayed classic time. Get 2 or 3 archer rains, get the Cyclop upgrade, and then push in. And what we see here, by the way, this temple, I love this situation. In this case, because we have Cyclops, and those are siege units, and he protects his gold mine with the temple, which he should, probably against most civilizations. But let's say if the temple was around here, and the gold is here, then we would either push like this or like this. But now with the temple on the gold mine, we have one direct pushing point. We push in here, and then we stop him from mining gold. We can even, like, if the Cyclops are around here, the Toxotis can be here and shooting. I just love this. It's such a nice setup for me. If the temple was here and the gold mine was here, then obviously it would be even worse, you know. Destroy the temple, then walk around and get the gold or whatever. So this is obviously a dream. And now Pegasus comes in with us with Centaur Raid, which is really, really good against Hades. He kind of wants to cause idle time and kill the villagers. Luckily, I don't think he caught one villager this game, so we defended really good. Also prepared very well here with the walls. I think regardless, if he goes Hermes or Athena, you will see some aggression. Like there could be two heroes and a Minotaur here as well. Oh, this was close. And so I walled this regardless. We both have the forward gold, and we both put our temple to the gold, so it's kind of mirrored. But our friend Pegasus is going for the 2nd town center. And I'm just chilling. I'm not panicking here. I'm not saying like, oh no, I need to hurry. I need to hurry. No, we can chill. We have the Water for Rivers running, remember. And only 1 on gold. This is like 2 or 3 on gold are actually enough to supply 3 Toxodi ranges. I mean, you need kind of rebuild because once you lose your Achilles, you want to rebuild it. And we got some economy upgrades to get more wood for Toxodis. Also, these 3 villages here are gathering sheep, and now more Cyclops coming in. We haven't attacked yet, and our friend Pegasus is booming. Did he see the Toxoid Rangers? No. So technically, he has no idea what's coming. No, he sends in the Pegasus. I assume he maybe thinks that I'm going for a Cyclop underworld attack, but no, he saw the army. And now we go to the... So like, one thing, good thing is to shove in the gold. This is your primary attempt. It's very hard for the other Creek to do a lot because they kind of need a lot of gold to keep building heroes. And when they have no heroes, they have nothing against Cyclops. So it's a really good way to sit here and just get a more Cyclops. Obviously not really sit here. I mean, you need to a little bit of moving, but to kind of sit here, maybe send some other units down here to distract. And just get a more Cyclops. If he doesn't get a gold and you kill the heroes, or you're about to kill him, you can just basically take the towns or take his whole base eventually. So this is what we. So this is a bit risky. I don't really like this. So I don't cast Pestilence. We force the towers. Now we're going to lose our Toxotes here. So Pegasus reacted nicely, but it doesn't even matter. We got idle time. We killed also from villages. And we just keep massing. What's one very important thing is this upgrade here. The Ares upgrade for Toxotes makes them so much better. I think this is I don't have statistics on it. It's more like imperial evidence. But every time I had this upgrade, they were so much stronger. And now we send some more units here, so he's getting a lot of resources. So we are just pressuring, and the mass of Toxotes can just take out the heroes so quick. And then the Cyclops basically get free reign. You have to, get some balls in this type of game and just run in. This is important because obviously you maybe do not get kills, and a town center is shooting at you. But one important thing is that it idles villagers. And now we are even in villagers, which is, oh, this was a bad throw, which is quite crazy to be honest. And idling villagers can hurt also so much. There's just like if there are how many are there? There are like 8 in there, and maybe more in the town center. Okay, there are only 7 in the town center, so this was these 8. But idling villages can be really good. And now the game stopped for some reason, but I think it is the point where Pegasus went out and GG'd. And yeah, just going through this very quick, but you can see one town center question is just sometimes really cool. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Please leave a comment and like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye. Yo guys, this is DoD FireFox, and this is the last game of the series, which is against I Like Belugas, which is .BacHi, who is currently the top 6 or 7 player on the ladder with 2050 points. And BacHi is here on Fuxi, and we play Hades on the new patch where Toxotes got slightly buffed, as infantry has less pierce armor. And I think a good way to end the series here is another one town center playstyle between Hades and Fuxi, where we try to win on one town center and not go for 2. And that's kind of brings the point across, I guess, why actually Hades is a good god for one town center place. Now currently going on for scouting, we go for the standard Walls of Erebus build, which adds 2.35 villagers to our gold income, which actually kind of is... So there's kind of the idea if you play Raw, for example, and you have the empowerment of your base, there is kind of the idea that you want to play one town center against one town center, because as long as it is one town center against one town center, you benefit from the empowerment of the Pharaoh. And that same idea we can kind of say for Hades, as long as it is one town center versus one town center, and we added 2.35 voice, we already ahead, economic wise. Um, so we scout this here. Um, the gold mine is fairly protected, and there's a second gold mine, a large one here, which gives us the idea that we probably have the same gold mine around here somewhere. Now there is the idea now that one town center play is maybe now not so good. Because technically on BacHi's side, if he plays like one wall here, then he has two safe gold mines. But honestly, I don't really mind so much going for one town center here anyway. It would be different if his second town center would be here, and then this gold mine was even like bel behind the town center. But technically, if you mass a lot of army and your enemy is booming, and you push in from this side, you could just control both gold mines standing here with army, and then maybe you put some more army here and you can control this as well. So it's not that bad, but even more so if we go for army early. If let's say BacHi takes this town center here, which should be there, yeah, we can also push him off hunt. It's a bit more risky as there are two rhinos. So once I see two rhinos here, I can assume he has two rhinos as well. So maybe it's not as great, but still, I want to commit to this one town center idea. It's not the perfect map for it, but if we can shove him off hunt and we can take all the hunt and maybe follow with a second town center as well, we may be doing well, We push in here, cause some trouble here, maybe even run through. It depends on how many units he throws at us. And meanwhile, we can farm the map and then take a second town center as well. So the one town center idea in this map is not ideal. It's not against certain civs. It would maybe be even better against Nuwa, for example, or Shenong theoretically, who have the Earth Wall. Then maybe this would be too safe to really do anything. And then the early aggression would maybe a bit too much to ask for. Well, maybe not. Honestly, you could still try to contain the gold mines here, but yeah, it's a risky endeavor. But against Fuxi, and especially against BacHi, I think loves some classical fighting. Think we still go up. So here we have an advantage already. We have the Water for Rebus, and we are up a little bit slower. That means our villagers gather a little bit longer, and we get the hand axe. Meanwhile, BacHi, I don't think has any. Oh, he has? Oh my god, he has all the economic upgrades. Okay, so he's currently actually building a bigger edge than us, but since we have the World of Rebus, we're probably still ahead. Got some idle time here from the Kuafu, and this is a risky, but if he's sending units soon, it should be fine. The thing is just like one Achilles will probably slay all this. And I am currently up and I'm building my Achilles. So we go for the sentinels. Doesn't really matter that we put them on the main base as we go one town center anyway. And now BacHi sees our stable and our tox. Our archery range. We get the Achilles. One thing that we should do, we get 12 goats. How much does BacHi have? BacHi has 5. Does he have husbandry? No. I think one thing we should do fast is get the husbandry upgrade so that these goats can fatten. And now we kill the mystical unit. Took quite a lot of damage on the Mino, but it doesn't matter. We still have Resto. And honestly, another thing that I don't really like looking at this game is the second stable, because we are playing against the lightning weapon god, whatever it's called. Wait, what is it called? We're playing against the Chichu? I don't know. Something like this. We're playing against this god and he has a buff. Oh, that is already coming in. He has a very strong buff for Halberdiers. So I think Hippicon are kind of needed, honestly, early on. Because you can skirmish so nice with them. You can pick off pioneers pretty easy. You can force your enemy in the halberdiers, and when there's two armies facing each other but nothing is happening, you can go and raid with the Achilles and the Hippicon. So I would say as one stable is necessary early, but maybe honestly it's better to go one barrack, one stable, one archery range, and then later add more archery ranges and barracks. So you maybe in this matchup you want to entirely skip um, cavalry at some point. And here we go for a raid. We know we saw his economy earlier. The best thing would be if you can come from quite from here. Maybe we can snipe some woodworks, but he has a lot of vision. We can probably not achieve any real snipe here. I mean, this is potentially a good point of attack. We're trying to sneak in here like this. So this is kind of the situation where there is nothing happening. So now we take hunt. Because the worst thing that can happen is that your opponent is hunting while you are not hunting. And this seems to be not the case, that he still is on the Rhine, no, the other thing, the hippo. He's still on the hippo. And so both players technically are hunting. It's kind of like a standoff. There's a villager. Or every time I raid and I see a villager, I check his upgrades. So what is this actually? The relic? The higher movement speed for villagers. And now we retreat again. And I think honestly we're kind of in like a situation where so BacHi is building a lot of halberdiers, and I think it's still okay. But I think honestly I should scout him better, and then maybe even see that he's adding more halberdiers. So I should maybe make a tech switch to hoplites earlier. And now we get caught out here as well. This is not good. Oh, it's so strong with this upgrade. Oh my god. They slow down the cavalry and just wipe it away. And now we have even reduced power. Army value is pretty even though. So no upgrades on for us. And upgrades for BacHi. I should retreat as soon as I see this that I don't have upgrades and he has. Honestly, I should be running here, not taking this fight. And this is now a point where I use resto. The fight kind of goes into BacHi's favor because he already has the upgrades in. And I also lose all my Heppican here to the front line. So I think this is a really, really big win for BacHi. Especially I have to retreat now on this hunt. There's a lot of walking time. So he shoots ahead here for sure. And so would be a good moment now. Seeing all these halberdiers would be a pretty good moment now to stop building Hippican and setting up some barracks on the Hades side. So this is a win for BacHi. BacHi, I don't know. It's a win for him. He keeps building units. I'm not entirely sure I agree with this because mm, he bailed out my restoration here. He still has lightning weapons, so he's not really in a need to get a big army. Also, Hades will leave his base very late because of the Water Variables, so this goal to take a lot more time until it's depleted, probably around 14 minutes or whatever. And also there's a back Goldmine, which BacHi should know because he has a back Goldmine himself. Um, and we are in a pretty bad position, but or not in a bad position, but we know we are still against lightning weapons. So technically we are disabled. We cannot move out on the map and do anything. We are disabled from doing action because we don't have a god power. We have nothing to counter lightning weapons. And also we lost Weremo in this transaction here. I think one important part should have been me checking the upgrades of my Chinese opponent and not taking the fight. Now, however, one big difference between me and him is that he is spending and still currently spending on army. So he has about 1k more army, and we are using this difference basically to go heroic. And this will open us up with a bit more tech and also economic upgrades. So if we don't have to fight and we don't really have to move out on the map, which we even if this goblin wasn't here, we don't really need to move out yet. But obviously, it would be um, more of a struggle, in the future to get gold. But we have a bit more time. So I think the next best thing once we hit heroic is to actually get the economic upgrades, because we are fine sitting here as long as he's not taking second town centers. We are fine sitting here and just getting upgrades in. Because we know he must be ahead on military value, and I think this is also kind of an error from BacHi. He kind of overcommitted it on this. I mean, also spends resources on this on these hero upgrades, getting walls, and this is, I mean, it's good, but it's also quite uh, costs a lot of idle time and gold. Wow, he has so many military buildings. That's crazy. Actually, good play by him. And now you see we are heroic. He cannot engage now because we have curse. Curse is a god power you want to immediately use when you once you hit heroic. You do not want to save it up, but obviously don't want to just, you know, run in there and just waste it either. So there's currently no situation. But if BacHi wants to attack here, we can just use curse to defend this. Now one big so now we get the economy upgrades in. Then we have heroic upgrades. So technically, we know that we are currently, economic wise, we currently have more upgrades. He still didn't show a heroic age. So we have a bit more time to breathe. We also get heavy upgrades in. And now the goal is, we, oh my god, without ballistics, these are so inefficient. Crazy. Um, So the next goal is to get to 100 favor quick, so we get a second rester, because we kind of want something to counter the lightning weapons. And this would be even more true against like Shenong, who usually goes Roshu for Fey Beasts. So then you would want to gather the favor even more. Then we get all the upgrades. We even get heavy shields. So the early game was really for BacHi, but we kind of played it the opposite. We had a smaller army value, just sit in base, get all attacks, then pump army. And we know we want to soon fight before BacHi hits heroic and gets all the upgrades. Okay. The will differential looks quite big, but this is kind of like because Kuafu's kind of inflate that. It's not technically not as uneven as it looks here. And now we got all the upgrades, and now we are waiting for the. So we even moved more villagers onto the temple, and obviously we got the golden apple upgrade, so they get a more favor. And now we want to move out. We don't want to give BacHi the opportunity to get all his upgrades now. We saw him just hit heroic age, but he's already queuing the upgrades, so maybe we are not fast enough. Why are these going so fast? Ah, yeah, because he has his Fuxi and his technology is way faster, right? Um, yeah. So when he's on favored land, he researches technology so much faster. So technically, in my mind, inside the game, I didn't really realize that. I thought his upgrades were all still running. So I wanted to attack and force a fight before all upgrades came through. That obviously didn't work out. But we are close to a second resto, so we know once he uses lightning weapons, we can go for go for it. This Archer Ball is huge, by the way, and very hard to counter for Chinese, unless they have tons of Tiger Calf or the dragons. So it's 5k against 5k, but and technically it's also we force technically it's also um even in god powers. So the force protection is used. This forces us back. Really hard to fight on it. When you have so many pelters, we have now currently 16. It's better to have like two groups of 8, because this is technically what you need to shut down or to one-hit archers. So the best thing would be to make two groups and then shift click on all those archers. I would say this is a win for us. It's two god powers against two god powers. But we also just converted 8 pigs into food, which is like 1,000 food, even more. And the forest protection is not on his ballet, but on his forward machine workshop. So we are in a really good position here. One thing that we should do, we should always, so I will see the villages here, where we do have 2 Pegasus here. What we should do, we should always check this and send a small groups of hoplites on these spots to harass. And meanwhile, BacHi should try to get a raiding group, which he is now. Get a raiding group full of White Horse Calf. And we place a low Toxodi here to, you know, see if he's coming for any raiding group, and now we retreat. And the game is pretty even. Now we have a lot of value here. So these type of situations is favorite Greek, I think. Especially if this goes down, if BacHi builds ballistas, they will not get healed anymore from the force protection. So these kind of situations are better for Greek. Now we can siege this in and get a lot of value. There comes a raid. We insta-queue the crenellations to be able to hold this spot better. And there's a skirmish here, and he moves in to get these catapults, which he achieved. So I think this was a win for him. Let's see, does BacHi have ballistics? Yes, this time around he has it. It's one thing that I told him recently, that he forgot ballistics in a game. And then all his archers were so useless. And I assume he's hunting here, because we saw a lot of villagers there, and he's there. So what I should have really done is like split the army more. But you see, this is like all from one town center. This is all one town center aggression. We like, if you don't go for a second town center that is running in the background, what you kind of have to step your foot on the pedal. You kind of have to keep being aggressive and get even more, like compound your military advantage so that you win fights, so that you snowball even more. So the worst thing, not the worst thing, but I think many people in these type of situations make the mistake that they go for a boom way too early instead of building even more army and getting a bigger army snowball. What is this catapult doing? It's tanking tons of damage though, so wasn't too bad. So once you commit to the one town center strategy, it doesn't mean you have to stick to it, but sometimes it's better to just keep on rolling. And this is a really good rate. And now one more hit on this, very nice. The baller is down, so 2 ballers down, and the force protection. But we lost quite a lot in the military exchange. I wonder why, honestly, because, well, he has also a lot of upgrades, but I thought that we played it more efficient, but apparently not. Not really sure. We can also resupply so fast from all these buildings, but they don't have any enhancement, I guess, I think. Now it's a risky move. We move out to these food spots. These are still not farmed. So technically all our advantage here, or like why we could keep up in food, was the early husbandry and like these 15 goats. Once we gather them, we can actually kind of keep up with BacHi, who was hunting the whole time. Which obviously kind of makes him get ahead. I think so. We still 1,000 against 1,000. I think this here is like power spike for the Greek, where the Greek is stronger than the Chinese. What BacHi should do, he should maybe sell food and try to get to the Mystic Age as fast as possible. And on Mima, we should try to get a third restoration up as fast as possible, because once BacHi hits Mystic, we will eat a Great Flood, and this can wipe the entire army, especially if this Great Flood shoves us into his army. And now we kind of see the attempt here to go there for gold. Is he really out of gold yet? No, he's just. This is good play by him. He's preparing for the future game. So he's trying to already set up the gold mines here. But his army is really weak. He's only 2.2k in army. And really what I should have done better here is a little bit more scouting, and secondly, rushing this third restoration. No, I kind of know, I kind of sense when I see the size of his army. I mean, I know he spent just like 1,000 resources here, but when I see the size of army, I know he's probably going Mystic. And now I'm a bit scared of the Great Flood. I don't react appropriately that I put more on the temple, to be honest. We raid here, this is really nice. What I want to do now is push this in as fast as possible, but honestly, I kind of fail. We're so ahead in resources, and we have all the upgrades. Look at this. Now we go up Artemis. I think Artemis is fine. If you're already very ahead, you know, you can snowball even more. You get the Shafts of Plague upgrade that makes your Toxotes really strong. And now we shove in here. And this is so close. Oh my god, he's at 90%. And no, this is it. This is game. Oh, again, frozen. Frozen in time. And this is another example why Hades 1TC can work so well. So the main idea with Hades 1TC is that you get some very good god powers, especially with restoration. You kind of want to spam restoration in critical fighting points. So against the Ornos, who does chaos, for example, you want to have restoration ready when it comes to the big fight. With Hades, you have to know that you have to vote for Rebus ticking. So as long as you are not behind your opponent, but even, you know, you're actually slowly winning the game. It's obviously easier said than done. It's not, you know, it's not like a guarantee that you win the game just because you have voted for Rebus, but it's a small edge. And all these little small edges compound. And I think Hades is really strong in the like heroic age when he has all his upgrades, especially with the ranged siege. So Japanese has ranged siege and China has them too in heroic, but they're not as sophisticated as I think as Petropolis. And when you have a big army and can repeatedly force your opponent to take fights while you heal up all these resources with resto, then your opponent is forced to play a longer mid game, which then in return kind of helps Hades, and Hades is also very strong late game. You know, I think he's kind of like if our opponent can rush Mystic very fast and like with a lot of Tiger Cuff and Dragons, then Hades is kind of shit against these type of power spikes. And if you can prolong a game with one Townsend aggression and also kind of deny your opponent from some power spike rushes, I think Hades is really, really good. So I really like this 1TC attempt. So again, let me repeat, when I would play 1TCs against Norse, I would do it about 50% of the time against Egypt. Against China, I would do it probably, honestly, on this patch, probably most of the time. I would probably go 1TC. Um, Against Greek, probably also 1TC. It kind of depends. If you're against Poseidon, you probably want to mirror what Poseidon does. Um, and against Atlantean and Japanese, I think you need two Townsend there. But yeah, I hope this was some educational content for you guys, and please, uh, yeah, leave a comment and like and subscribe. And thank you. See you next time. Bye.